I chose the very slow and peaceful song because that's what crypto Twitter is now with the new algorithm. It is slow and a ghost town. I feel like everyone's dead, dude. There's no engagement anywhere. I'm even looking at like some of the larger accounts and I'm like, damn, it's a few likes for these posts now. The algo hates everyone, but that's okay though. We're just now, CT has now been confined back to what it was about 10 years ago, just a small piece of the internet.
Yeah. Do you make content for the algo or do you make content? I don't even know. It gets very tricky. We've seen it, I guess, in the last couple of years, a couple of cycles through, I mean, I consider it like the worst of the worst, where everybody started making long threads to kind of feed the algo. It's just like the worst slop. And it got even worse with AI and, the info cycle. So I don't know. I hope it gets back to something more real, but I don't know. At this point, it doesn't look likely, honestly.
Well, I'm glad they nerfed InfoFi because that was just real annoying. I'd rather it be a ghost town than just slops, just basically taking 3 words that I put in my posts and just responding with the same.
Oh, you gotta earn your fucking stripes now. I mean, you really got to put something special. Although the reality is that a lot of shit's not special. It's just everybody's realized, oh, I can run whatever articles, and articles will get the most views. It's like, I don't want to fucking read an article on Twitter. Fuck you, dude. I literally don't want to read an article. I want 140 characters.
Same.
But yeah, I don't know. This is what they're pushing.
Exactly. Same for me. I mean, it's called Twitter. It was called Twitter. It was quick thoughts, quick when you're getting a coffee, give me compile a few words that make sense in a funny way. Deliver the most value and information and entertainment in 140 characters. and somehow we like just speed ran into everybody should be writing articles and reading articles. Like that's the complete opposite of what we came here for.
Totally.
It's strange to see, but hopefully we can get back to the roots, because this was the most fun website on the internet, and now you can't even get, like, your followers don't even see your posts. I don't know. It's a strange social media site at this point.
It's like the I don't know. I think I put out a tweet the other day. It's like the easiest thing for AI to do better than humans is write big long articles. You know, it's like the fuck, we've gone the wrong direction. It's like, show me an AI that's like pithy 10-word, tweets. It doesn't exist, right? That's still, you need humans to do that shit. But I don't know, man.
I'm just going to continue operating as I always have.
Yeah.
And I think for the algo now, from what I've read, you can only post like once an hour. Everything more than one post per hour gets demoted in the algorithm. And they prioritize quote retweets over retweets now. Is like the main ones that I've seen.
I still like the guys who just do the exact opposite, though, just to fuck with it. Like, I don't know, who was it? Not Frank. Who was it? The guy last cycle who would do every 5 minutes. Here, I got 5 more minutes. Franklin. Just doing just bomb the algo. But of course, then he got fucking taken off the platform.
Yeah, banned. Yeah.
So yeah, I do appreciate those kind of guys.
Yeah, you go through highs and lows. It's like the crypto market with volatility. It's the same thing with engagement. I mean, really, it's also possible that just everyone really just got wiped out and left, which is also entirely possible. But then what I've been doing actually is if you go to your own followers, instead of the For You page, if you go to followers, they actually added a populars tab. So you can actually sort, they do like an algorithm for your own followers now. So I do swap back and forth between those. And sometimes I see some followers. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen you guys on my For You page in like years. Where have you guys been? So kind of funny. It just shows the echo chamber that we all live in. But if you're a business like us, it just means that you just have to be very targeted with your audience, at least from the business accounts. It does look like they do push the business accounts a little bit more, though, because the Emblem account has 40,000 followers, but you see it'll show like 1,000 or 2,000 views per post with a little bit of engagement. And we do have the Emblem account as the business account. Maybe it's because it also has the gold check instead, but
that's good. They should push it, dude. You're paying a fucking $1,000 a month, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be pushing the fuck out of that, man. Christ.
Yeah, if we didn't have that gold check, there would be hundreds of more people scammed, maybe even thousands.
For sure.
Unfortunately, although there's still like a few of the fake migrate fund people, I cannot get banned no matter how many times I fucking report them. There's always one or two people, unfortunately, every week that reach out getting scammed by these people.
Community mods, bro. The Emblem community mod.
The 75-year-old guy. It's like, dude, he wouldn't even be a community mod. The PFPs.
It's a one person unfortunately got scammed. It was send me your tokens and I'll migrate them for you.
Honestly, at that point, it's like, sorry, man. Sorry for playing. Now you shouldn't be here, really.
And it was like a lot. I mean, that was actually the one where they then they actually did migrate to MFTs, but they just kept the MFTs. So they technically
they were bullish on the project.
So they actually did migrate it, but they just kept the migration tokens. Unfortunate, because that was actually like a big amount of tokens. So, hate to laugh, but yeah, typical crypto. Speaking of migrations, we did wrap up 8 migrations this week. Is actually a full slate of migrations: 2 Pump Fund tokens, 2 Bonk Fund, 2 Meteora, and 2 Radium. So we got the full on scale. We look now. Who was the highest? So Ornith. Is it Ornith? Orient? I'm not even sure.
Ornith. Yeah.
Ornith. 83%. So they put up a big amount. That was the winner of the group. Ubi was 75. Opus was 73 on the strong comeback with $1 million liquidity pool. I noticed with this migration group, there was like 2 or 3 projects that started out really strong, but the last like 72 hours, just literally all of them like doubled in migration amounts. They were all around like 30, 40% with 3 days to go. And then they all ended up between like 70 and 80%, which is like pretty incredible. I mean, even the migration that just ended that we're going to help later, Hyperswap, they have 50% of their tokens locked in the Yeah, they have 50% of their tokens locked by Believe, and they got 42%. So literally 8% outstanding. And some of that's in the liquidity pool itself. So almost their entire supply. So people are showing up at the end, whoever just kind of observing migrations. It's just another benefit to the platform that we're able to do this at scale, because you just bring in a lot of outside investors and a lot of outside speculators who come in and just buy them. And maybe they do dump on the other side, but it's just about getting as much across the finish line. I mean, we've had one migration, like it said the story before, but there was one launchpad that tried to use Meteora's migration tool, the one that basically ended the Believe business. And they integrated themselves and basically came to us afterwards and said, can you please just integrate us? Fuck this, dude. We tried to do it ourselves, and this is just too much of a pain in the ass for the 100K liquidity pool. One project spent like a month trying to migrate one problem, one project.
It's so I mean, we know now deeply how difficult this is and how many edge cases there are, of which there are hundreds, and how many questions teams have. I mean, it's literally endless.
I spent an hour this morning with one team going back and forth.
Yeah. Literally from base questions, which you go over 100 times, to then these kind of at fringe cases where they have locked tokens or they have bad actors, or it's literally endless, you know. I've tried, and I have kept like a doc of like Q&A. I was thinking, you know, we tried to integrate it in Hustle, but bro, it's the doc is like 50 pages long now. With question, and that's not even like, I don't capture every, but that's just like, dude, it's so deep, and it's basically living in, you know, Jake and I's head, and like part of it, like I don't even know, like the whole like part of like exchanges, bro, that's all in Jake's head. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on with that, dude. And that's like a whole nother shitload of stuff to learn. Holy fuck, bro.
We're getting them almost on board. So we have the APIs, and all the major exchanges have said they're looking into it. Knowing them, it's going to take 3 months for them to figure out how to even use them, but that's basically the case. And then the SDK hopefully will come live in March is the goal. But yeah, I started using Whisperflow, which is the text to audio. This has saved my mental health. I think it was
audio
to text in any text box. So you could use it for Discord, you could use it for iMessage, Twitter, anything. Wow. And this is now saving me literally hours per day. I was literally about to kill myself of having to spend 5 hours a day texting out all these replies. Now I could do it literally in a few seconds and just go in and fix some of the stuff. And I feel like a brand new person now. I feel like I could run this all day now, just sitting there and talking to the computer. But man, for December and part of January and November, I was like, dude, I'm going to fucking kill myself typing all day, answering the same questions over and over. But speaking of, it's not as bad. I highly recommend, if anyone, if you're spending more than an hour a day typing, I would go to Whisperflow. $25 a month, dude. Save literally your life. It's awesome. Shannon even mentioned he uses that or a different form, and this is how devs are able to do like 3 projects at one time, because they'll just like talk to Claude Code on one computer to basically run the automation for whatever they're building, and then they'll be typing on these other computers. It's kind of wild how it all works.
Yeah, I haven't figured that part out yet. I have heard that though, like people are integrating Claude with like their emails, and I don't even know, right? So they'll get an email, and then they'll just tell Claude kind of the general vibe of what they want to say, and then Claude will come back and answer it professionally and stuff. I know most people are not ready to vibe code, dude. You and I are not ready to vibe code. Like we just need the shit done. And yeah, Whisperflow is pretty sick. I think I've been using it for 3 or 4 months now.
Totally. Yeah, it's awesome. So a few updates. What's up, Ratoshi? Who's checking out on the live stream. So a few updates from Migrate Fund. So the other day, Pump Fund announced it's called Pump Fund, I think, right? The $3 million fund. I thought, dude, genius idea, by the way, and I'll pull it up here. Apparently this does apply to all migrating teams as well. So the Pump Fund team told us that they got a huge inbound of migration requests for projects that want to migrate, and they have to migrate by the February 18th, I believe is the date. And we also, with this week, we got maybe 20 different teams reaching out about migrations to all different ecosystems. A lot of smaller creators starting to reach out. You'll get a bunch of like 50K liquidity pools, and so Migrate Fund, we look at everything in liquidity. That's the only thing that really matters. Market cap doesn't matter. So you get a bunch of like 50K liquidity pools, maybe like 5 or 10, and then you'll get like a few like 200Ks, and then every 50 requests you get like $1 million liquidity pool or higher, and you're like, oh man, that's the whale, right? That's the sharks and the whales and this and stuff. So did get a few of those to reach out. And obviously with the bigger ones, there comes a lot more work, because a lot of the ones that have $1 million liquidity pool means that there's been sufficient liquidity trading, or sufficient trading, right? Because the fees are just locked in there and sloshing around forever, which generally means there's like a lot of exchanges that are involved. And that's when you have to go to all these different exchanges and go through their kind of bureaucracy and stuff. But we're getting them all down pat. So expect maybe another migration group potentially. Well, we have one starting on the 27th. There could be another one that week, or even the week after, for all these teams that have reached out. I think I have like 30 teams written down as like a maybe for the next few weeks. Just gotta look at them.
One question I actually, it just occurred to me. The old pump tokens, those actually still qualify, right? So they don't have to migrate to the new, right?
Yeah, I think so. But the issue is that, so for Pump Fund, they said you need to own 10% of your supply, because they're investing at a $10 million valuation and they're doing OTC deals. And so the average migrating team recovers somewhere between 5%. Generally, it's like around 10 to 20% of the total supply, right, on unmigrated tokens. So migration is literally that. That's like exactly what they're looking for. If you go migrate, upgrade, you're going to get, some of the supply back on the back end after 90 days. So Pump Fund will know that, right? Or we'll have to work with them on whatever that process is. And then you're good, right? And I think once we get the platform live, or the migration platform live, hopefully next month, where it's end to end, a user could just come to the platform, set up a migration, run it without even having to do these groups and stuff. I think you'll see a lot of, eventually, once a big person does it and has success, I mean, teams are already doing this, but migration CTO, where somebody just takes over an old project and turns it into an ICM project. And then now you have, liquidity and trading fees and tokens on the other side. And we've seen this at least 5 times with teams rebranding and doing things with other tokens and stuff. But I think once people realize that, they're like, oh, fuck, dude, I could get 10 or 20% of the supply and have $400,000 in this liquidity pool for trading.
Yep.
And just rebrand it with token holders who will migrate. Like, it's like the best start you could have.
It's so funny though. Like I think this week even we had somebody reach out, multiple people from like reach out about the same token. And it's
literally
like,
right now. Yeah.
Who's the real one, right? I don't know, bro. It's impossible to say, So I think it could get kind of a little bit wild. We've talked about
that's why I want it to be public, because it's like, right, we had two different people in the last 2 days reach out about one token that they want to CTO and migrate. And if it's public, I'd just be like first person to market. Now it's like I have to be like, okay, who's the real one? Blah, blah, blah. Right. You get like another one of these kitty situations, which is bad situation, I think, for everyone involved. But the kitty situation was, there was a token on Pump Fund OG called Hello Kitty, that a team migrated it to Bonk Fund, but apparently that wasn't the original Kitty team. It was like a CTO, but no one ever said anything during the migration, and it had 80% of migration. And then after they'd migrated, the community said that it was a hostile takeover. Like, the team didn't want to migrate, although they did migrate it. So they said that they were forced to migrate because the team migrated it. And after they did migrate it, then people just pumped the old token instead of the Bonk Fund token. And then when the Kitty team got their tokens, they just rugged it and dumped it on everyone. And so then everyone just kind of left in a bad situation. And it's like, I don't want to have to be involved with that. Like, I didn't know that situation. I don't, we do due diligence, but we're talking with the team. And then obviously if you're migrating and you have 70% people migrating, that's people voting with their dollars, right? So there's really
and they have
not much there.
Twitter. That's kind of like the main thing, right? You have control of the main social account, you kind of have control of the project. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something to think about when we automate this. That it has to have, do we want to make it so it has to verify through the official X account? I'm not sure. Maybe we do. Because you could get these really weird, sticky situations where somebody launches it, they announce it, but then the other part, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It could go kind of sideways there.
Yeah, it definitely can.
I saw the kitty team still pushing though. I'm rooting for the kitty team, bro.
The you're talking about the community.
Yeah, they're still out there. So I like the kitty team, man. There's some resilient people in that community, man. They've been through a lot.
So the Pump Fund, $3 million build in public hackathon. It's for early stage projects that are built and funded. The fund is funding 12 projects with $250K at a $10 million valuation. So that means that it's what, 2.5%? Yeah, they're going to get 2.5% of the total token supply. That pump fund is probably just going to hold in some capacity. The requirements, it has to be a pump fund token, own 10% of supply, and then you're just building in public is what they say. Do I need to build a crypto related project? No. And there's a deadline and a few other things. So
when is the deadline? It's middle of
February 18th.
Interesting.
So that's what they were telling us, is that all the teams that are migrating have to be done by the 18th. And I was like, all right, do you guys want to just run it next week? Like, let us know and we'll just figure it out. So I'm sure they're probably just strategizing on that. I mean, it's a good incentive to get people to migrate, right? This is kind of what we've talked with the Bonkfun team and Radium and Meteora and such, is like, if you actually work with us and you have incentives and reasons for people to migrate, we're happy to build things around whatever your strategy is, right? And all these teams are just running the business to us, right? So it's business for us. It's all incentive aligned. And we could continue to just do it in that capacity. So we'll see. In other news, we completed our first 2 Bonkfun USD1 migrations. But now Bonkfun migrations will be paused until we have to update our system. It's probably not going to be for probably like a month or so, maybe 4 to 6 weeks would be an estimation. So those were the last 2 Bonkfun migrations for a little bit, although we are getting some requests, as we do have to satisfy Bonkfun's request to go through the bonding curve. And I think we're just going to move all of the Launchpad migrations just through the bonding curve so that it reduces counterparty risk on everybody's end. And anything that's updated on the back end of these Launchpads, we don't have to deal with, because that was a little annoying having to find things out in public. To nobody's discredit, but it's just everyone operates a little bit differently. So the automation path is definitely the path forward for this kind of stuff. So we'll be working on that and getting the platform public, the team dashboard. The devs are cooking. They are on fire.
Well, I think just to kind of dive into that for a bit, the idea, just so I fully understand it and so everybody else can understand it, is that launching through the bonding curve the way we're doing currently on Pump, basically then those launch pads can't basically take it away from us, right? We're just launching using the bonding curve. So if anybody can still use the bonding curve, we can still use the bonding curve, right? So they change any sort of fee structures or anything like that, which these teams have just done. Like with Bonk, they changed the creator fee structure. It wouldn't matter. They could change it to whatever they want. Our system's still built for the bonding curve. So we don't actually need to do anything. Bonding curve still active.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Anything, fee structure, metadata stuff, different rewards, deprecating things, changes, anything like that. It's just automatically done. So that'll be good. And then we'll explore. And then in Q2, we'll probably be exploring a lot of cool things. The next evolution, I guess, of Migrate Fund. What are other features you can add? New types of migrations? Is there tokenomics there? Cross-chain migrations. Really, the demand, I think, is the direction. We've had some interesting teams, protocols, and businesses reach out about migrations. So we'll see where that evolves to over the next few months. But some really, really cool opportunities.
You think the Ralph token's going to get migrated off bags, man? You saw it dumped it this morning, right? That the dev sold 200K worth of token.
That was the fastest AI meta ever.
3 days.
We're basically hoping on these two both of them, both the devs are like, oh wait, I have 100 grand there or 200 grand, I'm out. So dude, we thought it was going to be. Did anybody thought that was going to be a different this time around? It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's kind of funny because they got the fees, right? And the fees are supposed to kind of dissuade the devs from actually dumping all their tokens. Instead, he just doubled down and said, I'm going to take both. So
yeah, take both.
Goodbye.
I didn't realize until he sold. I didn't realize they got tokens as well, like over a vesting schedule. Yeah,
it's 50%.
Maybe you should make those like the vest longer or slower or less. I mean, the dev holds 2% of the tokens at any one time seems like kind of crazy.
So Ori was a bags token that migrated away. I think that was the first bags one.
Yeah, I think Ralph should migrate, but the platform doesn't really have any incentive to increase the vesting cliff or anything. They want to kind of incentivize these quick flash in the pan, strike when lightning's hot and get tokens into these people's hands. They don't really care about the holders is kind of the general consensus. They just want more founders on the platform, and the founders want money as quick as possible.
Yeah, I expect a handful of those projects to migrate. They'll probably follow up in a few months.
I mean, I don't want to say it's another belief situation because it's separate, but I can see a lot of those tokens migrating to their own LPs after a lot of, drama like this that we've seen. How much drama have we seen between them? Who else was there that had a bunch of drama for their token? There was also another bags token. It wasn't the Ralph token. It was the other one.
Towns. Was it Town or something like that?
Oh, Gas. Yeah, Gas.
Yeah, Gas Town.
That also got absolutely nuked, but a lot of people like the token. These are good situations to look into migrating and really kind of taking full advantage of the, having your own LP and controlling your token supply.
Yeah, I think so far, I mean, from the migrations, Bonk and Pump have leaned into it the most. We do get some launch pads. Meteora is a little bit more hands off when it comes to their launch pads. We ask some stuff and get kind of minimal responses, although they are active. But the each ecosystem is different. I kind of look at Pump as kind of like an Apple, where it's like Apple products where it's just close-ended, right? You can use their SDK, but you can't program your own to use the Pump bonding curve, or you can't share fees with Pump on anything, right? Or at least they haven't released that yet, right? With like Launch Labs and Radium, anyone can go in and customize their own bonding curve for their own launchpad. That's the same thing with Meteora DBC. You could go in, customize your own launchpad, your own fees, blah, blah, blah. But you can't do that with Pump's bonding curve. So they just fully vertically control everything. And they've just leaned into migrations hard. I mean, they don't specifically quote us, but obviously we're the only migration platform. So I think most people understand. And to be honest, if they talk about us, cool. If they don't, whatever. I don't really put a lot of these teams, man, I think they overvalue what a tweet could mean, to be completely honest.
Vastly overvalued. It's like we've seen for a good portion of these teams, they think the most valuable thing would be like a retweet from Pump or certainly from Alon. If anybody he doesn't do it. So, the value is infinite, right? Because, everybody feels like it's this amazing thing. But I don't know. We haven't really seen that to be of, super valuable. But controlling your supply is valuable for sure, and having a good narrative is valuable. I think being in an ecosystem, obviously people want that, but the artificial, we literally had a guy today. Are you guys going to pump my token, bro? You talking about? I was like, yeah, we happily promote everybody who migrates. But is it going to pump your token? Fucking dude, you're high, bro. No, probably not. Certainly not me tweeting about it. I get 100 fucking views of it, a tweet now, bro. It's over.
So Pump has built something a little bit interesting with their side channels. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these other launch pads do this. So Cupsy, who was one of our migrations, migrated to PumpSwap, and then they were posted up from the at Pump Fund Eco account, which just talks about different things in their ecosystem. I think this is the right way. I think a lot of people, kind of try to value like the official pump account is going to tweet about us, but that's not the case. It was not the case for Bonk either. Although the team members come in, right? So each one kind of has a different social strategy. For Bonk Fund, it's more like the team members who have pretty high engagement will engage with the accounts. Pump Fund, it's more the side business affiliated accounts, I would say. And then for Meteor, I'm not really too sure. I'm sure we'll find out once we start integrating some of those launch pads like America and Soar and Ori and a few of the other ones that are in there. But it seems like all of the Meteor migration or launch pads are starting to move to USD1. I saw yesterday, obviously America.fund is using USD1 denominated. I saw that Soar is also moving to become USD1 denominated.
Yep.
It should have been one of my 2026 projections was that USD1 would become like the number 3 stable coin. It's actually now, since we talked about this like a few weeks ago, USD1 is now up to 3.5 billion minted. The number 3 stable coin is USCS, which was formerly DAI, is 9 billion. So it's really close. I could see that flipping it by the end of the year.
Definitely.
They have such a smart strategy of just issuing supply through trenches, because it also, that supply gets locked, right? Unless they migrate it.
People aren't going to fucking migrate out. If you're trading there, you're not going to change it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's so smart. That was a good strategy by them. So props to
Trump, bro. Do you think Trump designed that strategy?
No, they definitely, I forget the 2 crypto natives that are on their team. Whoever those guys were, they came up with a pretty good strategy. Because there's no way Eric and Don are coming up with that shit.
Right.
At all. These guys barely figure out what Ethereum is.
That was smart. Sure.
So good. Yeah, good for them. But the trenches are continuing. Solana's dominating. And it seems like, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be more of the same this year, at least from like the retail side of things. Solana is going to continue dominating in apps and retail volume. Ethereum is getting a lot of the RWA stuff I'm seeing is starting to move over to ETH. Ondo Finance announced a partnership today with somebody. Who was that today? I saw that had to do with who was that today that they announced a partnership with? BitGo. So BitGo is going to be the first crypto IPO this year. Apparently the valuation is coming out at 2 billion.
Yep.
And Ondo announced that they're going to tokenize the BitGo shares and trade them on chain. Let me see if I can pull that up here. I thought that was kind of interesting. I could see this.
They're going to trade it.
Let me see. So can we pull this up? So Ondo. So BitGo alongside hundreds. BitGo will be accessible via Ondo Global Markets. Let's go in to see what it has to say here. So Ondo, restricted. It's restricted to US. What the fuck? What kind of shit is that?
They can't do this like in the US, bro. So
I guess, yeah.
That's fucking how retarded. It's so retarded.
So it's going to be available on, it's multi-chain. I think Ondo's partnered with like Wormhole. So the BT Go tokenized stocks will be available on Solana, ETH, and BNB. You think this becomes a strategy where crypto companies are just going to IPO? Obviously, the IPO market is where most liquidity is. And then they're just going to do an RWA, or they're just going to tokenize some of that portion on chain. Right? This would be similar to the cross-chain products we talk about, where with Emblem, it's like, hey, you want to mint your NFT on Bitcoin or ETH, and then you want to distribute it to these other markets, right? Or with Layer Zero or Wormhole, with their whole thing with, I think it's called the spoken wheel model, where it's like, we're going to issue your token supply on whichever chain you choose to, but that supply is actually never going to leave. And then it's just going to be locked. And then we're just going to issue the shares to all these other chains. and some on the main chain as well. I think that's kind of the same thing as what's going on here, right? I'm going to issue the ownership of my company on the stock market, and then I'm just going to distribute some of this to all of these other global markets across the three main popular chains.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's actually, because it is kind of like this weird in between where it's not really legal to do in the States or whatever. It's like, I don't know. I think there's room for somebody, maybe it's Ondo, maybe somebody else, to try and grab this market to a larger extent. Like, it's there. It's just who has the fucking balls to go up against, US regulators, right? And obviously they're trying to keep it. You can't even fucking view the website because you're in the US, I mean, so obviously it's not going to be open to US people, right? But we all know what that means. I mean, if it's traded on a public blockchain, what's to prevent me from doing it? After they issue it, what are they going to fucking ban the IP with an NFT or something? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at that point, right? So I don't know. It seems like this is the cycle for this. So it's kind of running back 2016, 17 vibes where, it's good to see like a real company like BitGo rather than just a bunch of scams. So it's good. Is BitGo worth $2 billion? No, probably not. But
dude, Bongfun must have. Is Bongfun secretly listening to this? They just put a post out 10 minutes ago. First post ever about the migration teams from the official Bongfun account.
Hey, all right.
The Bongfun ecosystem is expanding. We've successfully migrated 7 pioneers: Radar, Project 89, Bongo, Chunky, Hello Kitty, Pokey, Memes AI, and the next wave currently in motion. Hosiko Send It, Bow Bow. The pack is growing. The fun is there, man. Awesome to see.
From the Migrate Fun account. This is big.
Yeah, love to see that.
Yeah, love to see it. Go ahead, Chris, about Ondo.
Was just going to say actually that, now that I think about it, this almost seems like more of a meta strategy, like a zoomed out perspective of how do you get crypto people to buy stocks, and you keep the market stagnant, and then everyone kind of starts flipping to stocks because stocks are the only thing kind of moving. And then you bring a bunch of stocks on chain, and then you have crypto traders that are already versatile in stocks, and then you're just able to kind of trade them on chain. Because if they just started bringing stocks on chain without the disconnect in the markets, no one would really care, and stock traders wouldn't trade the on-chain stocks, and on-chain traders wouldn't trade the on-chain stocks. So it almost seems like this is a setup for bringing a lot more stocks on chain and getting natives to trade them on chain, and then in turn, over time, getting the legacy institutions to trade them on chain. Otherwise, they would just sit there idly. So I kind of think that you guys are right, that we're going to see a lot more stocks on chain. That might be like the biggest meta of the year at this point, actually.
Yeah.
But in the current form of the Clarity Act, tokenized equities are banned. So does the dam break here? Are they just trying to front run it and basically be like,
yeah,
Elizabeth Warren, you can fuck off because we've already done this and there's no backtracking now.
So much potential wealth creation by doing that. It's the Uber model, right? It seems like worth the risk
For sure.
to try and do it and fight your battles. Look, we've seen again and again, like the people who leaned into doing it early, even though it wasn't fully legal and wasn't fully regulated. By the time it's all the juice is gone, right? You had to do something like Tether did when it wasn't really legal and you faced a bunch of challenges. Like that's the time to do it. And just roll the dice, man.
All crypto companies have operated in that. Look at the biggest crypto companies today. They were operating in a super regulatory, like opaque landscape. Look at Coinbase. Like to find a crypto bank was impossible, and that they ended up being the ones to do it, and that was kind of the way that they survived. Look at like the marijuana industry. All of those gray market growers and dispensaries became actually the biggest players in the marijuana industry because they had the infrastructure. And then now it seems like it's going to be the same thing going into tokenized stocks. But I mean, Robinhood has a great opportunity here. Larry Fink talks about tokenizing all of these stocks anyways. Like it is happening. Whether they're going to pass the regulation that says it can't happen and then they just don't really enforce the regulation against it, something like that, I'm not exactly sure. But this year does seem to be shaping up more for tokenized equities on chain. I think we should have included that in the predictions.
Yeah, it was a big miss by us for sure. Although we've been talking about it, we knew this was coming. I think our mind was a little bit separated. My like public market was somebody in the Mag 7 is going to launch an official crypto project, and forget there was another one that I had as well, right?
Same, but it seems like it's actually kind of the opposite. Maybe not the opposite, but they're not launching crypto products. They're just bringing their products into crypto, I guess.
Yeah. Bullish for Emblem, right? Because Emblem is, I like to call it a DWA, right? Instead of an RWA. Because what's an RWA? You're taking this real world asset and putting it on chain. We're just taking digital assets and putting it on another chain, right? So it's almost like a tokenization protocol, because that's what an RWA is, tokenization protocol.
Sheet and putting it on a public blockchain.
Right? Yeah, that's true, right? We're taking distributed assets, digital assets, and moving it to another chain, right? Whereas they're just taking the real world version. Like you said, it's taking something from a Google sheet and moving it to a decentralized Google sheet, I guess is like the right way to put it. But bullish. I guess the question then is, how do you get the institutional liquidity from the stock market to come on chain and chase that, right? Or is it just going to be the same liquidity that's been sloshing around crypto for a few years now, just moving from meme coins to tokenized stocks, which I think I've seen like Thread Guy and Ansem and the usual kind of large voices talking about this for a little while. Also, equity perps, I think, was like a big thing that people were talking about, just going long and short on these different stocks, which I feel like crypto natives have an advantage because we're generally pretty quick on picking up trends, much faster than anything that the regular markets can do. I think the only disadvantage we have is that crypto moves so fast, it's potentially might get there too early to whatever the trade is, because the stock market moves much slower. And I don't know if a lot of crypto people have, or natives have, that patience, because you just have not been groomed to it, because you're just going to wake up and Ralph's dumped the entire supply on you, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows, man? I do think in a lot of ways where crypto's basically finally hit that like successful point, where the amount of like truly kind of things that 10,000x, like those opportunities are going away basically, because those aren't really based in reality. Those are based on like hype cycles and just crazy narratives, or narratives that we could all believe in. Well, now we're kind of just moving into this like real world use case of crypto, which we've been talking about for a decade, but still was miles away from being implemented. And it's like, now it's actually being implemented. And when it's actually implemented, as we know, building is fucking bearish. It's like, oh, when all the stocks are tokenized, there's no 1000Xs anymore, because they're just fucking stocks. It's like, this is what we've always been trading. It's just what it is, right? When homes all get tokenized, will there be like, yes, opportunities? Sure. But at the end of the day, it's homes, right? Or whatever. It's whatever you're tokenizing. Pokemon cards. Yeah. Is it a hype for a little bit? Sure. But at the end of the day, it's fucking Pokemon cards, right? So are there still opportunities? Of course. That's why we're kind of all here. But the easy 10,000 X's of, crypto cycles, people have just woken up to it, that it's just not, we're kind of just like that.
I think the 10,000 X's are still here. You just,
they are. It's just,
you just got the amount of new markets being created is much less. Before, right, in 2017, you would see 5 to 10 new sectors being created, right? NFTs, ICOs, fucking dental market, right? Like whatever kind of weird
decentralized Ubers.
Yeah, decentralized Ubers, whatever, smart contracts, right? That was all new. Now it's like you get like in 2023, it was what you had ordinals, right? Was like new. The launch pads, right? The application era of meme coins. And now it's like what you get tokenized stocks is really kind of like the new thing, although it's been around for a little bit. Maybe a few other things.
We have AI, right? And this idea of like vibe coding with AI. And nobody's figured out any way at all. Well, first of all, because I don't see really anybody launching an AI that makes it money, or launches an AI that actually does stuff by itself. Like none of that has happened yet. Like we know it's going to happen. There's going to be, an AI agent somewhere that is able to do work that people hire or whatever. I don't even know what it is, right? If I knew, I'd build it. But we don't know what it's going to be. That thing's going to somehow make money on its own, right? But we also maybe feel like, well, it will do that, but then people will copy it and its ability to make money will basically run to zero as well. So, I think there's something there. We all think there's something there. We know there's something there. But how is it going to be tokenized? And if this is going to be like possible to make money on this through, tokenized fucking Ralph models, bro. Like it just doesn't, in the short term, doesn't seem likely. You know what I mean? Like those are the idea of the Ralph model. Like people are going to buy these fucking Ralph models, and they're going to make money for these people. It just seems like.
I see the Opus guys in the crowd. Tokenized robotics could be an industry. That seems like it'll be something at some point. The question always is that now or is it a few years from now? So it feels like we're always just so painfully early.
Decade, bro, right? It's like I thought, augmented reality through the whole NFT cycle. I was like augmented reality because I'd been talking about augmented reality for fucking like Snapchat because Snapchat had glasses for like almost a decade prior. And, we're still don't have good augmented reality at all. Like we're still a million miles away from augmented reality. So like, do I think it's going to happen? Yeah. But shit, we might be 20 years away. Like robot in your house cleaning up behind me and my maid who's a robot. Fucking years.
Your maid doesn't want to hear that right now.
She's like listening. I see her in the back sometimes.
Margarita's pissed right now, bro.
You're gonna replace me with a robot?
That's too funny. I think the 10,000Xs are kind of just getting started in a way, in the sense that these markets are just going to get so much bigger. You give like U.S. stocks are the premier stock markets, NASDAQ, S&P, but you have to be kind of an accredited investor. You have to be a rich investor from other countries to invest in foreign markets like ours. And so what happens when you open up all markets to Tesla, being an owner of Tesla? Does that mean that the value of Tesla has gone up exponentially, like as a company? Not really, but that means that you're offering 5 billion more people the opportunity to buy Tesla. And so what does that do? There's just going to be some percentage of buy pressure that comes in there that probably raises these valuations to pretty crazy levels. So what we're seeing today might just look extremely small compared to like how big these companies are able to get in the future, not based on like what they can do as a company, but just based on how many people can buy it as a company.
So then in that example, does the PE go from, 30 to 300? Or do people, but then when that happens, do like the smart investors start rolling out of Tesla and moving into like other assets, right?
Yeah, but I think that this is all a factor of both of the what you're describing as the PE multiple going up, because the value of the company isn't necessarily changing. The production value of the company isn't really changing, but the market is changing itself. And I think and also the denominator of the currency is changing as well. Like you just see it so prevalently through history where $1 billion company was a massive deal. To be a unicorn was like iconic. It was a mythical creature, right? It was a unicorn. And now you have $1 trillion companies, and then now you have multi-trillion dollar companies, and soon you'll have deca-trillion dollar companies. And so these valuations are they're stepping all the way up. And I think it's a factor of both just kind of innovation and technology being able to scale at hyperspeed, but also widening these markets and making the stocks and the investment opportunities available to billions of more people.
Who's the first deca $1 trillion company? Is it NVIDIA, Google, or SpaceX? Apple.
I'm an Apple fan. I just think that their distribution is crazy. But
maybe they are, but I think Google is. If I could just have all my wealth in one company.
Google?
Yeah, just because they just know more than everybody. They have eyes into literally everything. They're basically,
What if SpaceX goes public and then Tesla and SpaceX merge? I've been reading some theories that that's possible in the future.
That would still only be like 2 trillion current, or 3 trillion.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Because I think Tesla's not even $1 trillion. Maybe it's around $1 trillion. And I think SpaceX is maybe $1 trillion. I mean, dude, $1 trillion is crazy.
That's a lot.
It's lost all meaning, bro. Right? It's like it's kind of crazy.
But I mean, I think that we're going to get way more of these hyperscalers. Like, look at the opportunities today. We had NVIDIA wasn't what it was today last year. Only a year ago, it wasn't even $1 trillion company. Now it's a multi-trillion-dollar company. You had the chip company Grok, that's a major unicorn. You have Anthropic, you have OpenAI, that's maybe going to open up at $1 trillion market cap. I mean, I think the 10,000x opportunities are in a way just getting started, whether they're in AI, whether they're in robotics or whatever it might be. It just seems like we're going to tokenize those markets and we're going to bring them on chain, and the whole world's going to have access to these kind of private markets that they never did before. And these things are going to ramp.
You know, what's interesting to think about is with the BitGo strategy and like bringing stocks on chain, the crypto markets are trying to get their tokens in front of the public markets, right? The largest and most liquid market, right? But the public markets are trying to put their shares in front of the emerging markets to buy. It's kind of like they already are the most liquid, but now they want to distribute their shares to everyone. Whereas us, we're just like, we just want to put it in front of as much money as possible and just go to the biggest pot. I wonder who does it better. I guess that's maybe the $10 question over the next probably 15 years or so, is which one is the most profitable strategy long term, or sustainable, I guess is the same, right? Because, like with the best way to get rich is to concentrate your bet, whether it's building a company or going all in on like one or two tokens. But the way to maintain your wealth is to have stability, is to distribute it across as many holders as possible, right? So if a project, let's say Google gets to 10 trillion, you want to try to put those shares in as many hands as possible across the world, so that you know that those shares are pretty much locked up, right? Because if somebody in a third world country has one share of Google, they're probably never going to sell that shit. They're probably going to hold on because that's their way to get out of poverty and such, right? Whereas the crypto companies, they already have the supply distributed and available to people. They now just need to increase the price overall.
I will say that Chris is right. Like for most people, even like middle class people here in Costa Rica and stuff, they don't have access to the US stock market. You could get it, right? You can open a Charles Schwab account here and stuff, but they generally don't. So that's a real thing.
And then Jay kind of touched on the last missing piece, is that world currencies are just getting demolished all over the globe. Not only you think the US dollar's inflation rate is bad, these other countries are 5x worse, 3x worse, whatever, which is huge. And so how much of just currency goes into stocks and investments just because it's a better store of wealth? That was the Bitcoin thesis, but it's also the thesis for big cap equities that are premium, that are not going to get debased at the same level of all these, global currencies. So I think a factor of all of those means that these things are going to go way freaking higher over the next decade.
Gigantic.
Hold assets, bro. Hold assets.
That's it.
It's a simple theory of Chris and I have been talking about this for like fucking 10 years at this point, but it's really the disruptor thesis in tech. It's like when disruptors come in, they don't just attain wherever their predecessor was, they surpass it by like magnitudes. When Amazon came in and disrupted the postal service, that shit went like 50, 100 times higher than whatever the postal service could do, right? You see this time and time again with all these different products. Bitcoin's not, whenever Bitcoin gets to gold, it's not just going to stop at where gold is. It's going to go probably multiple times higher than that is, right? That could take 50 years or 100 years for that to happen, but it's going to go significantly higher over time.
Yep. Again and again, we see that. I mean, even with Uber's like the classic example. They took, what's the total taxi market? Whatever. It's $1 billion in the United States. No, actually, it's fucking $20 billion because everybody wants their hamburgers delivered too. Like nobody could see that coming. And it's the same thing with whatever YouTube. Nobody on earth could have predicted YouTube. Literally didn't happen because nobody could figure out nobody could think you have a production, arm in your pocket with your phone, right? Nobody could have considered that. So all that tech comes together and it's exponentially larger, exponentially bigger. And that's why, like, even right now, like talking about crypto, oh, it's so brutal, blah, blah, blah. Bro, we're vastly underselling the power of this technology right now. Like 100x underselling the next 10 years in crypto. So good to be here, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the price of Ethereum, whether we're Ethereum bulls or not, is going to be ridiculous at some point. It's just it's a classic story. It's a classic. When the time and place is right, these things are going to go crazy. And, we've seen this time and time again where the Bitcoin obituaries come out, and it's crazy that we're able to still do it at 90,000 or at whatever it is. It's just like, man, you just see the same story over and over again, and the thesis only gets stronger over time. And it's not
quantum, man.
It's not only a tech story. It's just a story of money needs to go into these places. You look at something like Solana, for instance, it's like, I don't know, $70 billion market cap. If you're a billionaire, you can't get $1 billion worth of Solana. You're going to crush the market, but you can get $1 billion of Ethereum because it's $380 billion market cap. So just like in terms of sizing and, big positions, there's only a few places that you can park huge amounts of money. And that alone is super valuable.
Yeah. Well, think of it, if you're Ramco and I think the company value, I think, is 3 trillion, or is it they make 3 trillion a year? I don't remember which one it is, or something crazy like that. You couldn't even, that's like literally a third of Bitcoin or half of Bitcoin's wealth. They couldn't even come in and size super hard, right? There's always somebody in bigger size, right? Isn't that, there's like a crypto quote like that?
Size is not size.
Your size is not size. Yeah. It's so true.
It's true. It's super true in the real world. I mean, these people are nuts,
Yeah. I guess if you're thinking about disruptors, right? This is Elon's thesis on robotics, is that every person is going to have a home robot, maybe even 2, right? You're gonna have one who's cleaning your house. You're gonna have one who's driving your car. I guess the car is gonna drive itself. But one's your girlfriend. Yeah. Right. It's tough to predict like the things that they'll do, right? And then it's like, what if I do swarm robotics? I need 2 or 3 robots with AIs in themselves so that they can confer and come up with entertainment purposes or some sort of theoretical physics or whatever the composition is. Or send robots into space so that they all can mine the asteroids and dump the price of gold so Bitcoin can surpass it in 50 years.
The only thing I would say is robotics, man, it's fucking hard as shit, dude. And I mean, I agree it will happen, but I think Elon's vastly overselling the timeline here in the same way that he did.
He always does, dude.
He always does. It's just, yes, but right now, even the best robots barely sweep your floor and they kind of suck at it. So, yeah, will it be better? No doubt. But this one feels to me like 2 decades, man.
2 decades? I don't know.
2. It's just too much. It's hard as fuck, dude. It's really hard.
But it just got so much easier because of AI. Like AI is a level 4 stage developer that you can have.
Show me the robot folding clothes, bro. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
It doesn't exist, bro. It doesn't exist.
Just put the clothes in the hamper, bro.
Put the clothes in the hamper, bro. Like, I saw a folding robot. It took 20 minutes per shirt. It's like, bro,
you've seen that viral video of the robot like cleaning, and then he runs into the mirror. And he breaks the mirror. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like that's definitely the experience today. But I just think that these tech super cycles get out of hand. I don't know. I think that super intelligence is a thing. I think that what does super intelligence mean for building rockets and building robotics and all that stuff? I don't know. I think when I think of the models and how powerful they are in my hands today, I'm like blown away. And I know that these governments and big tech companies have models that are 10x, 100x more powerful than that in their hands today. And like, that's crazy. So I don't know.
Look at the best robots in the world today. They're all super hyper specialized robots, right?
Killer robots, dude.
It's a robot that welds fucking joints on a car, right? Like it's super hyper specialized, one purpose. Same with your Roomba in your house. It's not to create like a humanoid, ask him to do shit in my house type of robot, bro. I'm just saying, yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
It's like 2026. The iPhone came out in 2008. But it was like basically a big screen that you can play like Flip Cup on, or like drive a spaceship. It wasn't even really a tech platform. And these years later, 18 years later, it's a supercomputer in my pocket that can do literally any aspect of my life.
Dude, one of our sorry, God. I was gonna say, one of our buddies, Michael Carr, right? From UNLV. And on the iPhone 1, while he was in high school, he created the app 69 Sex Positions. That sold I think it was like 5 million downloads at $5 a piece while he was in high school. while he was in high school.
Bro.
I think it has like 20 million downloads now or something like that. But
Bro.
that's the type, but right, that's like what crypto is, right? But it's you have to be to that industry early. He just figured out. I think he was like a sophomore in high school or something like that. It's funny. I have an interview with him on my 5 years ago on my podcast. He was like, I was in high school, a millionaire, and I was just like, do I just drop out and quit life? What do I do?
Yo, that's insane story.
But that's the kind of gains you'll get with like robotics, right? Or whatever the new industry is. Like when Chris and I got into crypto in 2016, that was like the whole thought. I was like, dude, this thing is gonna like take over the world. And then after you get into it, you're like, oh fuck, this is gonna take much longer than I thought. But along this way of 10 years, there's probably 100 different industries or markets in crypto now that have popped up, which any one of those, being early into any one of those, could have made you significantly rich. Obviously, you'd have to exit at the right time, but you got into altcoins in 2013, right? Or if you're doing ICO, shit, if you're into ordinals 2 years ago or 3 years ago now at this point.
Unless you're McBride and fuck the whole thing up.
Yeah.
You can be there and still make no money. I'll tell you that with certainty, man. That's
ready to inscribe ordinals number like 5. Just couldn't figure it out.
Another thing on robotics too, is that they take so many different shapes and forms. Like you look at Tesla FSD, that's a robot that drives itself at 90 miles per hour. Do I think that technology is going to, what's harder, that or having a robot fold my blue jeans? I don't know. It seems like a car driving.
Trust me, it's blue jeans. Believe it or not, it's fucking blue jeans, bro.
I mean, maybe because I know the hands are hard and the joints are and the movements, but you know, I'm talking in terms of like responsibility of the technology. Putting human lives in a car and driving it autonomously at 90 miles per hour is vastly more chaotic than
I mean, the way you look at like Claude is a robot, right? Robots are already doing amazing stuff. I mean, just in the software layer, you know, our devs are all over this. Like it's infinite, right? That's what the whole Claude Code thing is about. It's basically a robot building shit for you in cyberspace. You know, it's just a different kind of thing. When metaverse, bro? When metaverse? I saw the other side guys were posted about other side now. Other side's coming back, bro. Get ready, man, because it's populated with AIs and it's a whole new thing.
That was we were talking about the metaverse of was that a few years ago where like metaverse is just going to be pop. Oh, was that me last year? Or with the AI, it was like the metaverse is going to be filled with AI agents.
That was me. That's like such a me. It's like I'm always in that, and I'm always wrong about that one.
Yeah. Oh man, good conversation today. Yeah,
finalizing the migrations right now, or
yeah, we're gonna help Hyperswap close out their migration. Awesome to see the Blanc team posting about the migration, and yeah, we'll continue on. I think on Tuesday we're gonna have the 5 teams who are migrating on the show come in and chat about it, and we'll continue with the migrations, man. And Chris, before we do wrap up, man, what's the update on Mr. Hustle? That UI and some of the updates that you guys are creating it feels literally like a different platform.
Yeah, the feel is super nice. There's a ton of basically a complete overhaul of the Agent Hustle visuals and kind of platform renderings and basically performance and efficiency. So really far along on it. It's going to feel completely new, and it's just really going to expose what's already there, which is like an extremely strong foundation and really organized and efficient, optimized way of navigating through the platform and kind of how you would expect the next generation of crypto on-chain execution to look like and performance. And, you know, when we think back a year ago, when we launched the first version of Agent Hustle on New Year's Eve, 2025, it was, or I guess that was 2024, New Year's Eve, but I'm going into 2025. We didn't know what we were building. We just knew we were building in a direction to get somewhere around over here. And then we ended up over here. And now the process is retracing our steps, condensing all of the efficient levels and making it really optimized for the user experience. So we have all of the foundation built, and now we're just building correct pathways to it to really expose how powerful of a platform it is. And it's coming along really nicely. I think everyone's going to be impressed at the new updates to come.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I'm excited for it. And a lot of the AI companies have gone under. I see a few of the companies still building. I was looking around the AI platforms the other day. Hanon has kind of pivoted a little bit. They do have a nice clean UI, which looks good, but it looks like they've been building out less AI capabilities and more prediction market functionality. It seems like they abandoned the web extension AI trader. Maybe just people weren't using it. It's probably the case.
He tried to do, or he did a decentralized air quotes prediction market. I just don't think people give a shit, but we'll see.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on prediction markets at this point?
I like them. It looks like sports prediction markets are about to get shut down. Massachusetts is about to lay the hammer down as the first one, which probably means Nevada follows next.
And by the way, it's like 90% of all prediction markets sports, right? So
yeah. So that's going to be the first real test of the prediction market companies. Is once sports gets shut down, what do they do? It seems like Polymarket's still the winner to me. It's getting integrated and everything. They started with crypto rails. They have a gigantic head start. No matter how hard call she tries, I think Polymarket is going to be the winner here. Because they're now outsourcing their data to all these like major institutions, almost like what Chainlink does with oracles. They're doing that with all of their data. I think it feels like there's going to have to be something new that Polymarket's going to need to introduce. I don't know what it is, whether it's like you could go leverage on these or parlays or it's something within the prediction mechanics themselves, but it feels like they need to do something new once that sports letdown happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, we specifically talked about the comparison between how we felt about AI agents going into last year and where prediction markets were this year. And it was like the meta and the thing to do. And now January 22nd, it feels like it might look exactly like that same cycle where it was once again too early, and too novel. Like, are people going to continue betting on the words that Trump's going to say on his speech? Like, is that exciting after 100 repetitions? I'm not sure that it is. And so I think that, they're probably going to have to do a little bit more product discovery before they actually get to, super high level evaluations that we were looking for.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the crypto continuum. It's not going away anytime soon.
For sure.
It's just every company, every industry, right? It's that market cycle adoption where it goes like this and then it's an S curve and goes back, right? It's going to come down here soon from the initial hype wave. That second push up, I did not think it was coming. I thought after politics, it was going to be after the Trump election. I thought it was going to be stagnant for a few years, but it definitely took that next leg up.
They did a nice job of marketing, really, and reach out and kind of getting ingrained in whatever, fucking CNN or, podcasts or people just referencing it as kind of a source of truth. They did a really nice job of doing that. So good on them. I mean, I think the game is like, where is all this stuff going to trade? And I think, looking at it from that lens, is everybody going to trade stuff on Robinhood or Coinbase or, Polymarket or Kalshi, or where are people going to trade everything when everything is tokenized? That's kind of the bigger game. And I think that's what they're all playing. Just how do we get there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see why someone doesn't just buy Polymarket and just a Robinhood, just buy Polymarket, throw it in the app, and you almost have no competition. They can make an okay prediction market, or they could just buy the industry leader and shut out the competition. That seems like it would be good for an acquisition if you have the money.
Dude, M&A is still going full fucking speed ahead. It's like one a day at least. So should be interesting. I appreciate everyone. We'll be back on Tuesday with all of our migrating teams. Until then, see you soon.
Later, guys.
Later.